Sadly, this afternoon, I must cancel Sarah Ramirez. She is evidently an actress, best known for her role on Grey's Anatomy. The reason I have to cancel Sarah today is because of a recent post on Instagram where she came out as non-binary. Now, you might ask, what does coming out as non-binary mean? The answer is that it doesn't mean anything because non-binary is not a thing, unfortunately. There is a binary, and it's not possible to not be a part of it. The binary, broadly speaking, breaks down like this, okay? In one camp, you have people who can get pregnant. In the other camp, you have people who can get the people in the first camp pregnant. Pregnant and pregnator, you might say. Not the most eloquent way of putting it, but that's what it is. And there's your binary, okay? You can call people in these camps whatever you want. Call them Team A and Team B. You can make up some names like, I don't know, Snaggle Spiffs and Gallywags. Sounds a little bit like Harry Potter characters, but whatever. Or, you could even use names like, I don't know, women and men. The name doesn't matter. It's the function and the biology that matters. Yes, I can already hear your objection. You are right now shouting, I know. You're saying, what about women who can't get pregnant, huh? Bet you never thought of them. Checkmate, loser. And then you take a sip of your kombucha, confident that you've just debunked biology by pointing out that infertile women exist. But you haven't, I assure you. Infertile women don't invalidate the statement that women can get pregnant any more than a man who loses an arm in a wood chipper accident invalidates the statement that humans have two arms. His accident doesn't mean that humans don't have two arms, or that we must now entertain the possibility that there might be humans out there with 8 arms and 12 legs and 46 heads. It just means he's supposed to have 2 arms, but the wood chipper had other ideas. Okay? In a similar way, infertile women are that way, either because they're older and their time of fertility has passed, or because something went wrong. Illness, mutation, deformity, injury, surgery. Some known thing interceded and deprived this woman of that function. But we know that she's supposed to have it. Like the man with the 1 arm is supposed to have 2. This is not a problem for the binary. On the contrary, this is what's known as an exception that proves the rule. Okay. So that's the binary. Now, all of that said, let's check in with Sarah Ramirez. Reading from one of my favorite news organizations, LGBTQ Nation, it says, Sarah Ramirez, the actor who played the bisexual character Callie Torres on the medical drama TV series Grey's Anatomy, came out as non-binary in an August 27 Instagram post. The post, which showed Ramirez with a crop top haircut, was captioned, "New profile pic. In me is the capacity to be girlish boy, boyish girl, boyish boy, girlish girl, all neither, hashtag non-binary." All right, now hang on. First of all, it's just a haircut. Relax, okay? She got a haircut, and now she thinks she's a shapeshifter. It's like if I spiked my hair up and went, "Behold, I am a trans-dimensional being unbound by the laws of gravity. I am God. Look upon me and weep, ye mortals." You see my haircut. You can't get superpowers for $19 at Sports Clips is all I'm trying to say, okay? Anyway, back to the article. It says, Ramirez previously came out as bisexual in October 2016 while making remarks at the True Colors United's 40 to None Summit. Wait, so she came out twice. Can you do that? Well, okay. I guess it's 2 different things, non-binary, bisexual. Back to the article. It says, at the time, Ramirez said, "And because of the intersections that exist in my own life, woman, multiracial woman, woman of color, queer bisexual, Mexican, Irish, American, immigrant, and raised by families heavily rooted in Catholicism on both my Mexican and Irish sides, I am deeply invested in projects that allow our youth's voices to be heard and that support our youth in owning their own complex narratives so that we can show up for them in the ways they need us to." And says Ramirez, who has been married to her husband, Ryan DeBolt, since 2011, is a member of the True Colors Fund board of directors and blah, blah, blah. Okay. First of all, you notice how the intersections she lists are completely redundant. She lists woman 3 times. Queer and bisexual as 2 different things, and multiracial and woman of color as 2 separate things, and Mexican and immigrant as 2 separate things. She's throwing 50-yard bombs in garbage time, basically. She's padding the stats, okay? This is a person desperate to be seen as interesting and different, but like so many people today, she's convinced that the only way to do that is to get yourself into as many demographic categories as possible. Now, if we were going to psychoanalyze all of this, there are many directions we could go. it would be a long and winding and rather terrifying journey, I suspect. But I want to focus on just this one thing, this business about being non-binary. As she says, a boy, a girl, both, and neither. That, of course, makes no sense whatsoever. You cannot be something and be another thing that's fundamentally different and be both and be none of them all at once. You might as well claim that you're standing on the earth and the surface of the sun at the same time. It is nonsensical, objectively. But what's going on here really, though? You know, why do people make these claims about themselves? I think the answer, or part of the answer, is this. Sarah Ramirez isn't so much observing something about herself, she is rather making assumptions about other people. Okay? Kind of like what Michelle Obama was doing. And I'll explain more what I mean. Because it strikes me that when people do this, especially when celebrities come out and say, oh, I am just so complicated. My inner life is so interesting and unique. My experiences are so profound. I cannot be defined by the labels that the rest of you use. No, I am so many things and yet none of those things. I am like a work of abstract art. I am a walking poem. A song in the wind is my existence. And they go on and on and on. And then they actually explain in more detail what they mean and why they have come to this conclusion that they belong to a whole new category of human existence, non-binary or whatever other label they want. When you listen to their description of their inner experience, you think, wait a second, that's just being a person. That's pretty normal. The categories and labels and jargon are different and bizarre and sound kind of crazy, but the actual experiences underneath it, that's not special at all. These people are extraordinarily narcissistic, you have to understand, especially celebrities. And so they have normal human emotions and experiences and assume that the average person must not experience any of this themselves, that they must be going through something that is just far beyond the emotional and psychological reaches of the plebe on the street. They must be making this assumption, otherwise how would they know that the label of woman doesn't accurately describe them? How do they know that all women don't have the same sorts of emotions and experiences they do? How do they know that what they're feeling isn't just what women feel? They assume that it's different. And that assumption must be born, at least in part, by extreme arrogance. So, you're a woman with some traditionally masculine interests and tendencies. So what? That's not special at all. And it doesn't make you not a woman. That just makes you a woman. That's part of being a woman, a person, a human. We don't need a new category for you. It doesn't make you a woman and a man and none and all together. The most feminine women in the world have masculine aspects of their personality. My wife, for instance, very feminine, very good at traditionally feminine things like decorating, for example. But if you pour her 3 fingers of 100 proof whiskey, she'll guzzle that thing straight, no problem. She built her own barn for the chickens. I helped, in fairness, but still. She knows how to bait a hook. You know, I could go on. Does that mean that she's not a woman? She's non-binary? She's a man, a woman, both and neither? No, she's just a woman. But she's a woman with some unique and interesting traits and facets to her personality. Indeed, what makes the thing about the whiskey kind of funny and cool is precisely that she's a woman. You know, I can hold my liquor too, but nobody cares about that. I'm a man, it's expected. What allows it to be different, what allows us to be different and develop our own identity and personality are the ways that we put our own spin on the categories we naturally belong to. In the same way, we all belong to the category of human being, right? And because of that, if any one of us ever figures out how to fly without mechanical assistance, that's going to be a pretty big deal. If we were birds, it wouldn't be. And if you do ever start flying, that wouldn't make you a bird. If it did, then this utterly fascinating, gobsmacking thing about you would suddenly be rote and routine. Again, what makes us interesting are the variations within the categories. If you deny the categories or experience variation and decide that it means that you belong to the other category, you know, you're a man who has feminine tendencies in certain areas, so you decide that you are in fact a woman. If you do that, then you actually lose what made you interesting. You lose your uniqueness. Gender is binary because of biology, as I explained at the beginning. Nothing you can ever do or feel will change that. You are a man or a woman, a he or her. You are not both. You are not one then the other. You are not neither. You are not a they. And it takes, I suppose, some measure of basic humility to admit that and submit yourself to that reality, which imposes itself on you whether you like it or not anyway. But that doesn't mean you have to live a cookie cutter existence or think and act just like everybody else on your side of the binary. If you're a woman, be whatever kind of woman you want. Wear whatever you want. Get whatever sort of haircut you want. The high top fade on a woman doesn't do much for me personally, but hey, it's your head. Do what you want. Live how you want. Think what you want. That's not to say that every choice we make is going to be equally good, healthy, and moral, but the point is simply that you have a lot of freedom as a woman to be the sort of woman you want to be. You just don't have the freedom to be not a woman. And that's okay. In fact, there's a lot of freedom in accepting that. But for now, Sarah Ramirez does belong to a new category of existence, an ever-growing category. That will be the category of canceled by me. Hey, you right there. Hit the subscribe button right now. Do it right now. I thank you for your compliance. It's somewhat appreciated.